quick welcome and roll call, and then we'll get started.
Okay, it's ready.
All right, everybody. Well, this is Kristen with Dina by my side. She's been a bit of a godsend for me in getting these scheduled, so thanks for being so responsive, and a public thank you to Dina and to the two sites that are willing, or the two grantees that are going to share today. I'm not sure if it was the best thing to call them show and tell. That's sort of probably the shorthand that I came up with, but the purpose of this these calls that are starting today and will go right up until I think the 2nd of September will be the last one, is to allow grantees, each of us, to sort of talk a little bit about what is it that we tried, what is it that we want to really lift up and celebrate because it was fabulous. You're welcome to share if there's things that were big hiccups and mistakes. If we don't get to that, that's something that definitely we want to be able to hear about. So I'll probably do a little quick follow-up with each of you anyways to fill in any details that you just can't cover today. But, you know, so what is it that we've learned? How is this going to be helpful to having young people more meaningfully engaged and having service learning both spread more broadly and deepen in quality? So that's the intent. And for each of the calls, we have a couple of the grantees lined up to share what they have. These are all works in progress, so you're among co-learners, and we want to learn from the good, the bad, and the ugly. So feel free to share whatever you think would be most helpful for the network to learn from your experience. And I think, again, I just want to do a quick roll call. I know I heard Dee Dee's voice and Joy's voice. Is Samara also going to join us, or has joined us?
No, Shamara is trying to finalize our student yearbook, so she has to get those done before school gets out. Okay.
So Dee Dee from Campfire and Joy from TASC, the After School Corporation in New York City, are on. Angelia from Michigan, it looks like you're on the line. Is that true?
I'm here.
Yay! And Jorge Martinez and Trisha from AHAC?
We're here.
Yes, we're here.
Yahoo! Brad, have you wandered back into your desk? Not yet. He's a lucky man. He has it archived, or we'll probably hear him when he jumps in. And then I have a John DeConti listed, but John, I'm not sure that I know what organization you're with.
I'm also with AHAC.
Oh, fabulous. Yay, a powerful and mighty staff. And you guys are on deck for the next call, so I'm glad you're here and we can sort of get some sense of how this will work and the technology if there's things that we want to, again, troubleshoot. Anybody else that I missed in terms of folks that have come on that I didn't hear the beep or see the name pop up on our screen?
Yes, Kelvin Allen with HMCUC.
Oh, yay. Welcome, Calvin.
Thank you.
Nice to hear your voice. Anyone else? Okay. And Calvin, are you just calling in on the number, or are you in on the webinar using the software as well?
You know, I'm going to have to switch phones in order to get on the webinar because based on the logistics of my computer and my phone.
Yeah, okay, we'll do what you need to do. And again, this is, as Larry said, and maybe I'll give you another minute, or Larry, to talk about this software if there's anything we need to know. But we anticipated, we knew that there would be some glitches in this first couple, and so hopefully we'll work through some of those as they come up, and then it'll get smoother and smoother.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it will, and that's not a problem. So I'll probably hang up and patch right back in.
Okay.
Just to get closer to my computer.
Great.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Larry, with that said, you're familiar with this software. As we move into the sharing part, is there anything in particular that people should know about in terms of orienting to the screen, how to use the chat bar or Q&A section? Can you do a quick sort of orientation to the screen?
Sure. You, as an attendee, will see whatever the presenter puts up there. And you'll see that I am currently the presenter because next to my name, Larry Hardison, is a green and blue ball. Soon it will change to Dee Dee Gass and or Joy Ferguson, and you'll see what they present. At the bottom, or below on the right of your screen, it should be, there's a section called Q&A. That is a great place for you to ask questions if you don't want to interrupt the flow of the meeting, or yeah, basically to ask questions. That way the presenters can see the question there and then answer it, and the answer will go directly under the question that you asked. Another way that you can do it is to, next to your name, there should be a place for you to raise your hand. I think it's under your name, actually. And you can raise your hand, and then people can see that you want to ask a question. Then you can ask it over the teleconference. Brad Lewis has just raised his hand.
Thank you, Brad.
Sure enough.
There's also a chat feature. That can get a little bit confusing unless you're chatting to a specific person, which you can choose under the Send To. So it's actually better to use the Q&A or to speak up during the teleconference. Yes.
I'm sorry, can I ask, are there other attendees online right now than myself?
Yes, there are.
They're just not showing up in the participant panel, huh?
Yeah, I didn't set it up to show all the attendees. Next time I can, if that's what Dina and Kristen would prefer.
Yeah, that's fine, Larry. And I think, Brad, this is Kristen. If you click on View Attendees, it shows the 5 people that are online.
He may not see that because he's an attendee.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Let me see if I can switch that during the teleconference.
Cool. It's just helpful to know who else is in the room.
Yeah. Well, it's Angelia, John, and 3 folks from AHAC.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Brad.
Hello, Brad.
Hey, Brad.
Yay. Anything else that you want?
Sorry for joining a little late. I and got called away, so I apologize for that.
Anything else, Larry, that we need to know about this screen?
I don't think so. This screen we will be seeing every once in a while when the panelist changes to show their website or something of that sort. But other than that, you basically just have to watch.
Great. Well, let me say one other thing about the Q&A, and again, maybe Dee Dee and Joy are probably super women. Well, I know they are, so maybe this will be not such an issue, but 2 things. One, I will also be tracking the questions that are asked while you are presenting, so if you feel like you see people typing in but you can't sort of read and as well as be talking, don't worry, because I'll try to pull those up, or individuals again can kind of sort of say on the call, wow, I really want to talk about this. The other thing is, please put all the questions that you think of in that spot, because if we don't get to them during the call time, part of what we can do is loop back afterwards to answer questions that arise that we just won't get to during the conference time. And again, part of what my task will be, as I listen over these calls and by the end of the summer, will be to start to pull together some written documents that we'll post at the clearinghouse for, again, what's been learned, what are the frequently asked questions, what are the hard things. So the more that we really use your real live questions to create those materials for others, the richer they'll be. So don't be shy about posting things, and if we don't get to them all, we'll figure out ways to respond immediately and ultimately in some published pieces that will be available through the clearinghouse in early fall. So before we turn it over to Campfire, are there any other questions that people have about the purpose of the call or about the technology? The agenda will be Campfire first, sharing what they're doing and taking questions and answers. Then we'll shift to the After School Corporation to share their piece. Any other questions or issues that we need to talk about before we shift to Dee Dee?
Has anybody else joined us?
Kelvin Allen is back.
Dun ta da ta.
Wow, that's a great introduction.
No, I've gone and I had to go off for just a moment, but I'm back.
Yeah, it's the starting on one phone and transferring to your office. So welcome to the webinar.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other issues or questions? Great. Well then, let's turn it over to Dee Dee and hear a little bit about what Campfire has accomplished and learned as a result of this fabulous grant.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can you see the Campfire webpage? See if I'm doing this right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yay! Did a good job of telling you how to do this. Okay, what I thought I would do first of all is walk you through what we have created so far, and then go back to I've created some slides based on questions that Kristen had posed to us to kind of look at all of our programs in a similar way. The overall goal that we have had with the social networking sites is to engage more people into Campfire programs overall, and then specifically for service learning to engage youth was our major goal. So we started out with open social networking sites, and we started out this past December approximately by dipping our feet into the waters, as you would say. One of the first pieces we needed to look at was our privacy policies. So you can see here that our privacy policy was revised, finally approved by all lawyers, everybody else that had to chime in March, but we had started to work on that. Another piece that we started to look at was how we could encourage internet safety. Campfire has affiliates, or we call them councils, across the country, and they are the ones that provide programming, and they have youth that are involved in a variety of programs, as well as adults as volunteers and participants, and then we have alumni. So one piece that we were especially concerned about was the youth piece, and we found, and I'm just going to experiment and see if this works, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has a great site. So we talked with them, and they approved us using their site on our site as a place to encourage families, participants, adult volunteers to go to have information about how to talk to kids about internet safety. And what we liked about this is it's in a variety of grade levels. So there's different age levels that our volunteers and staff could work with youth. And then there's a safety pledge that they can take that is age appropriate. So that was one of our first steps, and a continued step is talking about internet safety. Uh-oh. Come back. No. Uh-oh. Hold on.
This is like the 4th of July fireworks where we can't ooh and ah when the site comes up, and we'll just rest in between.
Yeah, and then don't close, figure out when to do the back button and when you have to do the close button. Oh, I see. Sorry.
Take your time, Dee Dee.
Please. There we go. Okay, so then we started out, Facebook was our first one to experiment with. And we actually have 2 Facebook accounts. We have a fan page and a group page. So when you open up from the home page, we come onto our fan page. And we've had a variety of things that have been placed on here, Martin Luther King Day success projects. We have people talking about when they were in Campfire. We have another learning piece that we had was, how often do we have a staff person or a volunteer monitor all of these sites? So right now we have a staff person who monitors at least twice a week, if not more, and posts different things and responds. We look for inappropriate posts, but we really haven't found a whole lot of an inappropriate posts. So, and then with our fan page, we have done some events, some things coming up like Global Youth Service Day, those kind of pieces. We also have a group page that we've been excited. We have, on the fan page, we have 400 and some fans, and then on the group page, we have 800 and some people that have joined us on that page. So we're pretty excited about that. But we have some discussion topics, some dealing with social networking, service learning, memories, those kind of pieces, some posts, a lot of photos. We've had several instances where we have photos that have been submitted by councils, or this was from Peace Jam. There's a variety that people have posted for us. And I have a call coming in, sorry about that noise. And then we've also have links. We have some links to some pieces other councils have done. We are heavily a camp organization, so also have some things from the American Camp Association. We have a video of our own that we have linked to from our YouTube site. So there's a variety of pieces in here. Okay, now let's see if I think I have to close this one. Yeah.
This is really cool, Dee Dee.
Okay, let's see if I can go back.
Looking good, looking good.
The next site that we really have done some things with is our Twitter site. And the Twitter site has, again, a variety of things that we Twitter about. Our staff person who works with this even has some of the language with the hash marks and the tiny URLs and all of these things. So we've got 272 people that are following us. We're following over 100. So we think that this has been good. It has not garnered, well, both Facebook and Twitter and most of these sites have not garnered the youth population, even though we have tried. We have councils that are also doing some of their own Facebooks or Myspace and some of those. So we've got some youth in those categories, but we have had a lot of adult traffic, so that's been good. Our YouTube site has one of our videos that we did as a National Campfire video. It talks about service and what we're doing in service, as well as a family strengthening piece. We have a health initiative that we're doing, so we have a lot of health videos that have been posted on here, or some council videos. What we have found as celebration and demonstration, as our councils have done some of these with their service learning, we discovered that YouTube won't handle more than 10 minutes, and we didn't know that to begin with until our councils started posting them, and they were too big. So we're trying to get some of them to pare down some of their celebration videos and other pieces, but right now they're putting them on their websites instead because they were too big for YouTube. It's been popular with them. We have some photos on Flickr. We have been protective of Flickr because of the youth, the COPPA law, the Youth Protection Act, and tried to put just teens mostly that we have had in service. So some of these photos that we're using, or when we have youth on here, they're far enough away that they can't be identified. So we're still trying to figure our way through what we're posting and how we're posting things. And then our LinkedIn site is more of our professional, some of our council staff, some of our other networking that we have. We have followers on here and some discussion topics on here that we have done. So those are the sites, our basic sites. So
what about MySpace, Dee Dee?
Oh, I forgot. Oh, yeah, our MySpace. That I left to last because that's our most frustrating. MySpace has been our most frustrating from a national perspective, although we now have 21 friends. We were stuck at 4 for a long time. We have a National Youth Advisory that we have 2 members of that have tried to help us with this, to try to get more traffic drawn to our MySpace account and try to post things on here. We have had less results here, but our councils that are doing service learning, our youth are participating in that realm right now. So we're trying to get them to branch out, and our YAC members, our Youth Advisory Cabinet members, now have summer again, and I actually got an email again from one of our YAC members saying, okay, I'll work on Myspace again. So we're still working on it, but it has moved the slowest of any of our pieces, and it looks very adult. It doesn't look kid-like. So
we've had some similar experience. We're going to try and young it up as well, but don't feel like you're out of the ordinary there.
That's good to hear. Yeah.
Sad to say, but
we haven't given up on it, but and hopefully this summer we'll get some more pieces on there. We have a national leadership conference coming up this fall, and a youth track to it. So we're going to try to put a YouTube video up and put it on our Myspace account, inviting other youth to the youth track and using some of the social media to tell youth what's going to happen at the youth track, so we can get some more youth from our councils to participate. Okay, so those are our sites. Now I'm going to go back to...
Dee, on your top right, you should see a little thing that says sharing.
That's where it is. Thank you, because I lost that.
And Dee, this is Kristen. As you're doing that, can I ask, can you say a little bit about why you chose those particular tools?
Hold on. Why do I have this? I don't know why that's there. Cancel that. And I want to go here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We looked at the different applications, and we had a person named Jody Ruddick who does a lot of consulting with us, and she gave us a whole list, and these were based on what we talked to our Learn and Serve councils, because they have been kind of our core group along with our teams. Our teams just wanted us to use Myspace and Facebook. And so the others were chosen, well, and YouTube was in there too. They were okay with that. So in talking to people, that's how, it was kind of a polling of what we should do. We've gone back to different groups every time. We go to the next step to figure out who we want to add and why. We had some resistance of our adults to having a national campfire Myspace, just because Myspace has had a bad reputation, but we haven't had any problems with it. And so that's really, it's been just by talking to other people, our potential users, as to which sites that we wanted to highlight for now.
Yep.
So if we look at, Kristen asked us to identify some different questions. We have up here in the left-hand corner, this was our overall goal in developing when we first created this Web 2.0 grant a year and a half ago. What we were really wanting to do is to get those youth to be more engaged, to see that Campfire was more than what they are participating in, where they are at, and that they were to be able to share their information with more people beyond their circle. So we're still working on that goal, but so far our strategies have been the open social networking sites and encouraging the participation of the older youth in those sites. We will be opening our closed social networking site. That has taken so much time, so much red tape. Talk about government red tape, of what we can do, how we can do it. It's going to be opening the end of this month, the first part of July, end of June, sometime. I've been promised that it'll be open. So hopefully we'll be able to engage some younger youth in this more closed social networking site that is a campfire site of its own. Then, does that work, Larry? I go to the next one?
Yes. So on the top, where it says 01 campfire.
Oh, there. Thank you. All right. So lessons learned. We wanted people to interact with other people, and we found that people are interacting with people they know much better. So it takes a little bit. We keep getting told by conferences and workshops that when seminars we signed up for that sometimes it takes a while to get people to interact with people they don't know. And we hope that as we continue to offer these and people meet each other at conferences or youth meet together, that then some of these things will happen. That we learned encouraging takes time and patience, persistence. We have a great response from adults, both alumni and current adults and volunteers that are working with our councils in this social networking and are really enjoying sharing what they're doing. They love the pictures that we're putting up and stories and seeing what Campfire is doing in different areas. That really has been a positive. Youth are slow to share where adults hang out. That's their term. So it's worked much better to have their own place, their own closed social networking site because the adults aren't watching. So they're trying to help create more of those. But then you got to open their circle enough to let others in. So we're working on it. With the videos, the youth all want to share their videos. They're excited about YouTube, but to do that editing, to do the finishing, to get the final touches, it's like, okay, we're done. We've acted, we've created it, we've seen it. We don't want to do that's one piece that our council volunteers and staff have worked really hard. It's that follow through. So. And then the other really amazing thing to me, you know, the social networking has been constantly changing and the uses. And a year and a half ago, our youth and our adults both said, you've got to have mobile alerts. So when we went to figure out how because the solution that we have for our closed social networking site, we had to purchase an application for mobile alerts. We did a poll of our Learn and Serve councils, some other a bunch of youth that we, both our youth advisory cabinet and other youth that we had that are doing service learning, we polled like 50 people. No one signed up that they would sign up for a mobile alert. It's like, why are we spending the money if nobody's going to sign up? Well, what has been told to us by youth and adults, if they want it mobilely, they have a BlackBerry. And they don't want it on their cell phone. So it's changed in the last year and a half, that whole concept of, yes, I want to know when I have a message, and now it's, if I want to know, I have a BlackBerry concept. So that piece, and we realize things are going to change constantly, but absolutely no, and I was shocked. And I was surprised at the number of youth and adults didn't even want an email alert when something, and that could be because it's a Campfire thing and it's not their best friend, but the majority did want an email alert, so that was interesting. This whole concept of why we're doing this was to try to help deepen the youth engagement and deepen their experience that they're having. So in looking at that, the social media does have that potential, and we're still trying to find that right mix. We're getting there. We think that what we've done has been good, but we're going to have to, it takes work, and constantly populating and keeping up with what's happening and what people are wanting to do and how they're wanting to do it. Videos work well. We just have to get them to follow through. And youth like the concept of sharing with people outside, but again, their follow-through is often has to come through an adult pushing them or an adult being part of the group that helps to do that. So we're still working on it. And then where do we go from here? I'm excited to populate our closed social networking site, and I have people that are youth, both youth and adults that are ready to help as soon as we get it up and going. And then, as we have done all along, we've done doodle polls. Doodle.com has a great, easy system for doing polls over the internet. So we've used a lot of that as steps along the way, both to our youth cabinet and to the adults that are working with us to ask questions every step of the way and not assume that we have the answers. because we want this to be used. So continue to ask questions and keep up with, if not ahead of, the changing uses of social media. So that's my presentation.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Wow.
Very nice.
That's fabulous. Thanks so much, Dee Dee. And I don't see people typing in. I included haven't, I think, because it's a lot to absorb. So this is terrific. I think now, again, we've got time. We've got 15 minutes, 10 minutes or so to just, are there things that came up that, again, people want to ask questions about, or in particular resonate with things that you've experienced, or things that you want to ask Campfire why they did certain things the way they did them? Nice affirmation, Brad. Thanks. I agree. Wonderful presentation, Dee Dee.
I have a question. This is Joy from Task.
Yeah.
You said you have somebody that kind of works on the Twitter and keeps up all of these activities. I'm just curious how much time they put in.
We started out, she was doing maybe 15, maybe 20 hours a week at first, and she and I both were doing things to begin with, trying to get things started and populated and going. We now have cut her back to 10 hours a week, just budgeting-wise and time-wise, but she's doing about 10 hours a week, and it's not enough. And as we open our closed social networking site, we know, again, we're going to have to put a lot more time in there also. We're hoping to fund, we're in a budgeting time period right now, and we're hoping to fund a full-time person just to work with updating our website and keeping track of our open and closed social networking sites. And right now, we don't have that. We have people working on bits and pieces here and there. Brad, on all social media, not just Twitter. It's on all. Yeah, you can kind of get involved in any of these. You can get so absorbed. You can keep adding, and anybody who's worked on these, and I'm sure Brad knows, you could get involved in reading all the Twitter information that's out there on people you follow and people who are following you, and keep sharing lots of things. So lots and lots of time can be spent. So you have to limit yourself if that's a responsibility. If you have other responsibilities in your job.
I don't know if people are aware of FriendFeed, but it's a place where you can aggregate your the notices and your tweets and your status updates from Facebook and other things. You can actually include your friend feed on Facebook. So I'll check it that way, just because then I sign up on pretty much every service I see to kind of get a sense of what the functionality is, how they compare, where the traffic is, and like that. But that's one way to kind of centralize your input, as well as there's a similar function on a browser called Flock, F-L-O-C-K, that can help you to kind of centralize some of that. But you're right, it is very time-consuming. We found that here as well, and we've split up kind of the responsibilities among various of us who are more comfortable in one of the social network sites or social media sites or another. And you'll see very easily when you go to our Facebook site, that's the one I tend to hang out on, and we have other people that do Twitter and Myspace and like that.
We've also found that people, and this totally makes sense and it's probably good, spend more time on nights and weekends, and that's typically not when you have a work person working. So we've had to help monitor, we've got some people very concerned that bad posts are going to be placed on there. So we have people assigned to make sure that somebody checks those nights and weekends so that in case something does come up that's bad, that it's taken off right away.
Looks like Tricia has a question.
Yes, I have a question, Dee Dee, about the closed site. On that closed site, are they going to be active Campfire USA participants, or?
The concept on our closed social networking site was that it's current participants and alumni, and that they can sign up through a password protection. We're now exploring and keeping the open social networking sites for anybody who wants to go there. So to keep it more protected for youth. I have some people lobbying for portions of that campfire networking site, which doesn't, Campfire Net, or we're not sure what we're going to call it yet. Somebody's working on a cool name for it. But anyway, we may end up with some open portions of that site for the public, and then the majority of it closed. Again, details are fast coming to an end here in making some of those decisions.
And when you say alumni, do you mean like, because you've been around for so long, so you have, I could just see on your, I think it was Facebook, there were a lot of alumni, quote unquote. You know, when I was a campfire girl, and so let's say I was an alumni at the ripe old age of 44. Would I be able to get on that closed site, or is it alumni, like active participants who currently turn into alumni in the present day?
We're trying to figure out how to ensure safety for the younger youth with outside personnel. So we're not sure yet. We're encouraging them to go to our Facebooks and our, Myspace, our LinkedIn, our Twitter, all of those alumni, and then we may end up with just a totally alumni site, just adults, that they can sign up there. So again, we're still fishing around for the final solution. But yes, we have a lot of alumni, and we're coming up onto our 100th anniversary next year, 2010. So we are encouraging, of course, alumni to come back to us and see what we are now.
And of course, all my questions are about the closed site. But what are, I mean, maybe we're going to see that later because I know it's going to open soon. But maybe just quickly, what are some of the functions that will be on the closed site? What are the participants going to be doing on there?
It's essentially a Facebook. It's essentially a Ning or a Facebook. It's a closed site that will be on our website.
Thank you.
Other questions? We've got maybe 3 minutes before we transition to New York City. Dee Dee, one of the things, this is Kristen, that I'm curious about, does Campfire have plans to try to capture what local councils are learning as they experiment with this, with social media tools? Do you have a way to get sort of information on, are they having similar experiences? Are their lessons, or I'm assuming the relationships might be slightly different?
Yes, we have all along captured what council experiences have been, and have links to them. The other staff person and I that work with these social networking sites have often been invited to be friends of theirs, and so we're keeping up with what they're doing and talking to their staff, and they become part of the poll. We know who's on Facebook. We know who's on MySpace. I mean, you can do a search. We know those. Those are easy. So we've talked to their staff. They've been part of the polling as we've asked questions all along because we want to keep, and part of the conversations that we've had, yes.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if the lessons, again, what things are unique to local conversations and what things, like you said, can jump up in there. I think I heard one of your things saying you wanted people to see that they're part of a movement that's much larger than just their local work. So.
Right.
Well, anything else?
Nice job.
Yeah, really nice job. I'm giving you a fabulous job. A big round of applause. Thank you so much, Dee Dee. Maybe as we do this, Joy will help. We'll have Joy get in the queue for doing whatever technology stuff she needs to do. That was really, that's really helpful. And some of this, again, I see Liberty's not on today, but part of what I hope we'll do, we'll have these slides. I did ask people to sort of use a common format. So we'll have the archives available, but we'll also figure out how to edit pieces down and have maybe the PowerPoint so that people can access. Many of you are sort of the front runners in terms of taking the time to document this for others in the service learning field. So thanks for what you did, Dee Dee. Looks like Joy, looks like you're ready to roll in New York.
Great. Yeah, I can't tell what you see, but I did want to say thank you, Dee Dee, and I had never seen Twitter before, so now I've had a tour. And I really love your polls idea. I want to use that one. This is the front page of the Building Healthy Communities site, and this is the public part of the page, so you don't need to log in to see this. So we have our blog for educators on here that also has information that we want parents and staff and students to access. So
can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
I'm realizing as you say that, Sherry, are you still on the line?
Yes, I am.
Do you want?
Oh, yes. It's
link so that you can.
It's you don't have to type in www. It says BHC period TASCORP TASCORP.org, and that will bring you to the front page.
V as in Victor, H as in Harriet, S as in Sam?
No, B as in Building Healthy Communities.
Sorry.
BHC.
I'll set it to all people. Oh, she's not on there. Sorry, I wasn't thinking.
So we have the vitamin is this blog that goes down here, and then there's more. You can go back into the history on it on this link here. And then we have a healthy recipe exchange, which is anyone can post. Or actually, I think only students and staff can post, yes, because this is just you can just see that they're here. And you can also search by ingredient or any single word. You can do a search. So these have been added by Shamara. Let's see some student ones. Here's
This is all time to be over lunchtime, so, you know.
Yeah, sorry. You're looking at a yummy purple smoothie, and here's a lasagna. So people have been putting in their recipes, and that's a really popular thing. I thought that it wouldn't be, but they like their recipes. So that's the recipes. Let me go back. And healthy living resources. This we haven't put in as much here as we wanted to, but we put in games for kids to do at home or to do with their families. Kids are commenting, and here's somebody suggested another game, which is great. And here's some nutrition quizzes and other resource links on different obesity prevention things. Okay, so now let's log in, and I have this access guest teach, which means guest teacher. And we'll log in. Oh, and there's a featured blog of the week. Oh, let me go back. See if I can do that. I have to log off to go back. This is Alumni is at one of the sites, and we posted his as blog of the week because they just had their health fair as their final project. And if you click on that, even from the front page, you can see all of the comments, and this is where the students' work is. So he's asked the students to describe what they did. So this is the students' impression of their experience. And tell me if I'm making anybody dizzy by clicking through, spinning down. But you can see here's another. These are other blogs of the week going down. So we'll go look at the blogs directly. Let's do that rather than blog of the week. But those we do make some public so that anybody can look and get a sense of what the project is.
Nice opportunity for reflection.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the goal. Now this is, let's go to Almir's site. This has logged us into the, which one is it? This is a list of all the schools here. And these are all the blogs. Although we had a crisis last week with Emlyn. Everything disappeared. So we're trying to find the log. There's a log in the HTML somewhere that says what happened. So we're trying to figure out what happened to them. This is Alamir's site. So this is where the teacher would post the blog to this orange button. it's really easy. You can start a new one. So he just types it in, and then picture, video, or attachment goes here. It's very easy. And then the students just reply, and that's also very easy. And the first time you log in, it asks you to choose a little picture to describe yourself. So you put in your name, and you talk about your favorite healthy food, that kind of thing. It's let's see Justin. Justin created this profile for himself with his school and his favorite fruit and his vegetable, his favorite exercise, healthy goal to eat less junk food and more healthy. That's cute. So this is students writing about the health fair now. Alamir, this is just Alamir, one of the, let's see. Alamir looks like he's posting for one of his students. But he said, what is the best way to raise some money for the walk? They're doing a walkathon for diabetes. So he has the students thinking up ideas and talking about what they want to do. Here he's talking about sort of reflecting on his teaching experience. Let's see what the students have to say. So they, this is interesting because the students are replying about diabetes. Oh, I see. They're replying to this earlier post about diabetes. They received a presentation. So this post actually is just in the wrong place. I think he wanted to put up that picture of the students doing something hands-on. And then this is the students had a diabetes prevention workshop, and then he asked them, what did you learn from that? So they're talking about what they learned. There's one post that I just think is brilliant. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. What is your favorite way of exercising? So the goal is, when we did the training, is to ask a lot of questions and then have the kids respond so that they can think of the answers themselves, and to encourage that kind of teaching and all kinds of things. So everything from, tell us about the health fair to tell us what you learned about diabetes, that kind of thing. And the schools are fairly similar. Here's what's your favorite exercise? I'm thinking about a triathlon, says Brian. Let's see, some more service projects. How about this one? No, it's about energy drinks. Just think, some sites have done service projects recently, so I'm trying to think of who that is.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, of
Joy,
course.
this is Kristen. Joy?
Yes.
I'm curious because I love this question card, and I think, like Brad was saying, it's a great way to get to start capturing reflections. But are you seeing people not just post the one question, sort of, what is it? What's your favorite this or what, but sort of multiple layers of questions, so as posts happen that there gets to be a deepening of the question asking and sort of understanding of the content? Has that happened in
Not so much. It seems like people really, they tend to move from topic to topic.
Yep.
Although, here's somebody says, we talked a lot about a community and different kind of communities. How can we promote a healthier lifestyle within our community?
Yep.
So they're saying we could add healthier food to family fun nights. So the students are thinking up ideas on how they can provide a service.
Yep.
So not just what kind of fitness do you like, but there's so there is some, like the healthiness, the learning about nutrition and fitness is supposed to generally fit into, like, great, now how can we help others with this? So I think that is happening to a degree.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it's sophisticated. It's kind of simple and fun, and the kids are really enjoying it. but it's not, it kind of layers in the different activities, so fitness, healthy eating, service, all kind of combining together.
Hey, Joy?
Yeah.
What are the ages of these kids for the most part?
They're really young. We're talking about, well, we aimed it for 2nd to 8th graders, but we have a few 1st graders involved.
That's great.
Yeah, you can tell by the spelling, I think. There's one site, I can't remember which one it is, but it says, you know, what is your favorite fitness activity? And all the kids talk about what they like to do. And one kid says, I am Korean. But he spelled it wrong. So you can tell, like, they just write one-word answers, and sentences are very impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the other thing that you have once you logged in is the teacher resource section. So students don't have this, but this is for teachers have this. So all our forms and materials are on here. I'm going to skip down, more surveys and forms. Oh, wait, here's some more. So we have resources for people, Guide to Service Projects, American Diabetes Association, dance songs and activities, games and activities, training notes. Ignite Game Plan is our service model, 6-step service model, training notes. Then we have some guide to blogging training and support. These are the webinars that we did. Our website was created by Teachers College Center for Media and School Change, and they did all these webinars with us and the staff. And staff really loved being on. The recorded ones are really boring, but and we put a SurveyMonkey. We put the link in SurveyMonkey so we could see who was actually looking at it. And I have to say it's pretty much nobody. We had pretty good turnout for the events themselves. So, and then we have our safety guidelines and service project ideas. So that's teacher resource. And then the curriculum is online too. Oops, here's some more forms. So the curriculum is online too here. So sometimes people are not with their curriculum or they don't have the curriculum, so it's all posted here. So anybody who can look in here can look at have a copy of our curriculum, which is also free and available to the public. We are having trouble with video, so now we finally got it. We are working with TeacherTube because they tend not to be blocked by school, what do you call them? Firewalls. So we're trying that out now because the YouTube, too many sites were having blockage. And now we should be able to post a video. We could post video, but the thing is that we're having the same issue that the videos were too long, so we weren't able to keep them up there, or they weren't showing. There was one other feature that we didn't really get to put in place that we wanted to, which is My Partner Schools. So see that says there are no partner schools. We have the capacity to connect this site. This is actually the BHC, the task site, this one, Living with Diabetes. We have our own little blog. But we have the capacity to connect it to 2 other partner sites. So I would see their blogs in this column instead of this list of schools. So if I log in, I would see my partner's most recent blog. But we've been finding the kids just flip around and look at everybody's stuff. So there's comments on everything, even ours. We're not partners with anybody in here. I put this in as a sample. This was just a sample. We were testing it, and here all the students are commenting on our sample. That's not even real. So they're saying, well, you did an awesome job. It is a real poster. I just got it from the web somewhere, and you can't really see the pictures, but the students are very supportive of each other. We've had we have had no negative postings. Everything goes through a moderator, and the moderator checks once an evening, and they put in like sometimes no time of day and sometimes 15 minutes, something like that, because the student doesn't see their post right away and then they post it 20 more times. So those all have to be deleted. And we really, I have to say, we considered taking the moderation off because everything has been so positive. But one student did say, if you're obese, you should make yourself vomit. So now we still have it on. So that's our, oh, and then the search, you can search by anything tomato. Let's see. It shows you all the things that have tomato in it. And, oh, sorry, lunchtime, no, show food. See, all the students have commented on somebody else's recipe, so they really like this recipe. This is, oops, sorry. Let's go back to, hello. I think I lost this. CD, oh, wait, event in progress. No. Return to event. Okay, here I am. Do you see my closing this window stops all application sharing? Do I want to close it, Larry?
No, don't close the window.
Okay.
On your bottom bar, do you still have the Internet Explorer window that you had open, or the browser that you had open with your website?
No. But I don't need the website anymore. I'm ready to move on.
Okay, then you can, you should be able to click on your tab. There you go.
Okay, great.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, so here's, and I took this off of one of the site's blogs. It's just a picture of them going shopping. So our goal was very similar to Dee Dee's, to get young people involved in reflection with a real audience and deepen the service learning experience for them, offer resources to staff, and enhance program and best practices. So staff are also reading about each other's projects and even learning projects to see how are you teaching nutrition better, and also to offer resources for students, staff, and parents for obesity prevention. And here's Alamir's blog. So we really were thinking like maybe we should do 3 websites, but then we ended up just having public and private. And we encourage kids to share the website with their parents, and we printed a parent guide for the program, and in it we asked them to log in and give them their own login parent. And this is biggest ahas, and then, you know, when I wrote it down, I was like, all of these I should have known, so I called them does. Kids think computers are fun. They want them. They need them. They just love to sit down in front of the computer. It's so exciting for them. And then part of the reason is they don't have enough access, I think, in school or even after school. We have, we currently have about, I think we have 48 to 50 programs, and we have 14 that have web access that allows them to use the internet. So some might have computers, but they don't have the internet. And even some of the ones that we're working with have one computer, and what they do is they project it onto the wall, and the teacher types in the students' comments for them, or they take turns with the students coming over 2 at a time to work on the web. And then, you know, it took us a lot longer than we thought to get the project up and going, and it's taking longer than we thought. And we wanted to do a lot more things than we actually did do. So it was a bigger project than we expected. What helped us was the safety policy, because our partners were reluctant to get involved and staff was reluctant to get involved until they saw that. The webinars got the staff kind of excited about technology, how cool it is. TC ran these webinars with lots of polls, and we had little breakout groups, so we're all chatting the whole time, and then we had notes from all the chats, so it's pretty fun. We have an evaluation plan. TC is helping us to evaluate the project right now. And the site coordinators, the leaders of the programs, are really interested in getting more computer programming into their programs. So they need constructive ways to get kids involved in using the computer. And then we gave sites some money to buy digital cameras, and that really helped too, because they were kind of not so excited about it before that. What didn't help was that we didn't know what the website would look like or what capacity it would have until after the programs had started, so people didn't really build it into their program model. And because of that, you know, we have other components of the program. So fitness takes a lot of time. Planning for Global Youth Service Day takes a lot of time. So we're asking a lot of staff on multiple levels. Then we've had a couple of tech glitches, like I was saying about the movies, and then that one site disappearing. I really would not expect the guy who did that site to post again, because he did a lot of work, and now it's all gone, and his students as well. So I'm hoping we can find it, or at least find out what happened to it. And then we had a moderator turnover because we wanted our moderator to be not just approving comments, but really getting involved in making the program better and doing more, I think, of what you were saying, Kristen, like if they're saying, you know, we have one, I think all of our site, I'm really impressed with all of the staff comments and questions and postings except for one. And you know, we need somebody who has a little more time to kind of coach these people through how to do a better post, or what kinds of questions or postings can you do that are going to elicit responses from the young people. So that's...
Talk about food, obviously.
Yeah. And then what we hope to learn from this project, whether and how the blogging project was helpful to the youth, how is this an effective project for people working with 2nd to 8th graders, and you know, ways to get around the school computer access problem. So we have an evaluation questionnaire to staff that's going out, I think this week, and we hope to have answers to these questions. And the After School Corporation is interested in seeing, you know, is blogging effective for other programs? Is this, you know, reflecting on learning and having a real audience for your work? Is that really an effective approach for after school or learning in general? And in the future, we want to continue offering this program and let people blog and have their own program blogs. And we would still have a private section of our website and continue to offer these resources. And I would definitely include polls. I think that's a great idea from Dee Dee. Any questions about our project?
Joy, this is Sherry. I have one. How did they pick their figures or their, like a little signature?
When they first log in, there's a page with maybe 50 or 40 little pictures.
Okay.
So they type their name in, or their name is typed. They get a password, so their name is already typed in, and then they pick their picture. Like we had looked at one of the students before. So he picks a picture of his favorite vegetable, his favorite fruit, and his favorite exercise, and makes a healthy goal.
Mhm. So I can see those little signatures being something very appealing to you.
Oh, the kids, yeah, they do like them.
Neat.
They do like them.
Personal expression.
Yes. Well, and
exactly.
it kind of bonds them to their what they get to say. And, you know, older kids that use Facebook and things like that, they pick their pictures so that they're already identified with it. But for the younger kids, they need something more straightforward.
Mhm. Joy, this is Tricia. Do each of the students have their own username and password, or are they accessing it through their teacher?
They all have their own.
Okay. And do they keep a hold of them? I'm just thinking because they're so young.
Yes, they do. I'm going to show you. Can you see my site now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These are like the passwords. They're really simple. So David's password is David V5, and his name is probably David something. No, Jeffrey H, Jeffrey P. So maybe these are their whole last names too. So they're very simple passwords, and the students keep hold of them, and if they can't remember, they email in, and we let them know.
But they set these passwords themselves, the username and password?
No, we give it to them.
You give it to them.
Yeah, so we set it up like that. And then there's 3 capacities. There's student, teacher, and moderator. So moderator, I can do everything. That's fine.
Thank you for including the logos.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's important.
It is important. They're on everything.
Yay.
Yeah, I think they're down here somewhere. There they are, logos. And we have even Teachers College, so we have 1 million logos here. Yeah, it's a small project, but I think when it works, it works. It's really nice. And
Do you guys have, I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
I was just wondering if you guys have a presence on some of the other larger public social media sites like Campfire, or if you just haven't gone there yet?
No, we haven't. We haven't. I think people are concerned about none of these. The thing about our passwords and the kids' logins is that the parents don't want their kids having email addresses. So that was our big block when we first started. So we had to create something that didn't require the students to have an email address. So the students, all they need is their login and password. They don't need an email address. And almost any other site requires you to have an email address to be able to log in. So that's how we got around that, by having it's very private and doesn't require any kind of sign-in with email.
Great.
Yeah, this is a really young group, you know. It's
right.
2nd to 8th graders, so it's like think about it differently. I don't know if 2nd to 8th graders are, I mean, maybe getting up to 8th grade, but the younger end of it, you know, the emails and Myspace and Facebook, I don't necessarily think I might be wrong that they're out there on those things, but
Yep.
Yeah, I think my niece just tried to. Well, she just joined Facebook, and her father was furious. And you're supposed to legally be 13, I think.
Oh, okay.
And she's 12, but all of the kids are doing it, so she's doing it too. But a lot of these, I don't know what age you get your first email address.
Yeah, my daughter's 9, and we vacation down the Jersey Shore, and we go the same week every year, so she meets this girl who's there the same week every year. So they wanted to communicate over. So, and she was 8 at the time. I'm like, email? You've got to be kidding me. But, you know, I set her up with an email, and she and this little girl talk, but I watch it. But 8 seemed really young to me. But I thought, well, it is an innovative way for these two to communicate, and they share, you know, they just talk, and they're good buddies the 2 weeks that they're down at the beach. So
right, but it makes sense that you know you don't want your kid having an email address without you being involved.
Right, and then other things do show up. Although, you know, just the stray stuff that pop up that I don't necessarily want to expose to yet. You know.
Right.
I also have an 8-year-old, and this year she also wanted an email account, but my 6-year-old didn't. So I think when you hit 8, they start figuring it out and they want one.
Right.
So,
they see the utility, yeah. Although I'll tell you, the kids, we work with the high school kids, and they do need an email address to get on our social site, and that was, a lot of them didn't have it. And I was surprised, that they aren't communicating via email. They all had, you know, Myspace and texting and all that stuff, but they didn't have sort of this established email account the way that, you know, I do and other professionals and even, I think, college kids. At least in the population that we were working with, we saw that quite a bit.
Looks like Brad has a question.
Sorry?
Do you have a question, or is it? Oh, it looks like you have a question up. But did you get your question answered?
Yes.
Okay.
I was actually just going to say, though, on the other end of the spectrum, we get graduate students and or interns and that kind of thing, and this the kinds of emails that come through on some of their accounts are like Chewy Head 1082 or whatever, and so we do some coaching. I do some coaching, as I'm sure you all do, with your interns. That perhaps a more professional sounding email address would be appropriate to look at as well. So there's obviously a variety of issues on a variety of levels.
Mm-hmm.
Joy, I was wondering about the evaluation and when that'll be complete, if it's something that maybe, again, it seems like the issue of is blogging effective in these settings might be something that would be wonderful for our network to get some high-level.
Yeah, the survey responses are due at the end of June, so by mid-July we should have something.
That would be great. Anything else for Joy?
I'm trying to get back to the main page. Is there?
The top right where it says sharing.
Okay,
so
thanks, Larry. What do I say there? Pause, exit application sharing. Okay, great. Sorry about that, because the question part I wasn't. Okay.
No, that's great, Joy. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. Yay. Well, again, I think for me this was the kickoff, or for us it was the kickoff of these kind of show and tell. I guess I was realizing, and I'm very open to if people have some initial thoughts now. Otherwise, you can definitely email me or else we'll follow up. I want to make sure that we get to see it, which is exciting, and sort of cheer each other on. But also, if there's ways that this can be a better learning call or a better way to really help us have the conversations or sort of support each other if there's areas where we're still stuck. That was great, Brad, to get the friend feed resource, and this could be a chance again to sort of live and real time be able to do some problem solving and or question answering. So are there, with that in mind today, are there things that one that you really liked, and are there things that, boy, let's see if we can incorporate this for the next call, which will be actually Sherry and AHAC. Things that worked and things that you'd like to maybe try to add. We'll get the attendee list up, Brad, for everybody to see.
Yeah, I think that's helpful, and I know that there's some concern at an admin level there about people kind of talking behind the scenes or whatever, but I actually think that can be really helpful too, because it'll raise questions that some folks might feel like, geez, I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing, or, so-and-so's on the phone or not on the phone. So, I don't mind that as long as folks are, the presenters are still doing their thing. But I think it worked well to have these PowerPoints and to address some similar questions. I actually did screenshots of a bunch of what you two were doing to be able to share with my colleagues kind of informally.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Well, and thanks to Larry and to Dee Dee and Joy for doing this kind of kickoff. It was a little tricky to find a site that would be able to toggle back with some live stuff and PowerPoint, and it just seemed seamless. It seems like you guys have been doing this for a long time, so wow.
Well, thanks to Larry.
Yes, Larry's great.
No, it's all you guys.
He said dutifully.
And Sherry, we'll try to figure out how we can, it sounds like doing it from your house. I mean, we'll try to figure out any problem solving for next time. But I'm wondering again, was there anything else that you really liked and or that you'd like to try to change for the next time?
Can I ask a question about the technology in general?
Yes.
One of the things that we've been doing, this is Angelia in Michigan, is trying to use some, and Brad was very helpful in helping us find some sources, but I'm wondering, Larry, if you've heard from folks about what they like in terms of webinar what do you call it?
Software?
Tool,
Yeah.
software, yeah.
I haven't done a whole lot of research asking the people that we work with what webinar software they use or what they like. We really like WebEx because you're able to share your desktop, share an application, present a document, and actually, if you wanted to, you could actually have a document up where everybody is able to participate in the document and work on it all at once. So it's really nice to be able to incorporate all that ability into WebEx. And the people who did do research are here at ETR and chose this over many, many other possibilities.
Larry?
Yes.
Do you have any idea why they chose this over a live meeting?
I can find that out.
That'd be interesting. We were looking at that one. It's fairly reasonable in terms of cost. I think we could have gotten 150 seats for a year for something like $27,000, which, you know, sounds like a lot, but that's 150 seats. People being able to host these kinds of meetings. You could do, obviously, a factor of, 10 or 100 less for a lot less money. But and Centra was a lot more for the same. It was like $65,000 for 150 seats. People, again, able to host webinars and stuff. When we looked at the functionality of live meeting, it looked pretty good. But we're in process of reevaluating all of them ourselves to see where we want to go for the future.
Right.
I'd be interested in
I would, although I don't know for sure, I would sort of be surprised if they hadn't checked out live meetings.
Sure.
So I can look and see if they have any feedback on why we went with WebEx.
Perfect. Thank you.
For John, we used to use ReadyTalk, if I'm not mistaken, and preferred WebEx.
Yeah, WebEx is definitely a great service.
Great.
Yeah, this is George at our AHEC office. We do use ReadyTalk, and I did compare WebEx and ReadyTalk, and the main reason why we went with ReadyTalk is because it was a fraction of the cost. We were able to obtain a one-year license through TechSoup, and basically the only feature that the WebEx had that was over ReadyTalk was the availability to actually show video clips.
Yeah.
But for our purpose, and I'm sure for many of the other smaller organizations, ReadyTalk would be a great utility, great piece of software to use, and for presentations, especially like this, and also for the cost. I mean, WebEx couldn't even come close to the cost, so that makes
Thank you. That's a good point. One of the things that we had to consider is that we are using it with our sister clearinghouse, the Resource Center, and they have WebEx is being used by all their TTA providers, or something of that sort. So we needed to have something that was really robust and that lots of people could be using it at the same time.
Can either of you speak to the relative cost between the two of those?
For the ReadyTalk, I believe the license for us started at $47 a year, and of course that's for a certain number of seats. I believe it's like 15 or 20 seats, and then of course you pay an additional fee for the seats and for teleconferencing and other options. But even with the additional fees for the seats over 15 or 20 count, it was still less expensive than WebEx. And I believe WebEx started at like $50-something a month for a certain amount of seats, and then of course all of them have the option to add additional seats at a certain cost. And I guess it depends on what your needs are.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, we got a good deal on Ready Talk. That was through TechSoup, right, George?
Yes, it was.
I mean, it was like $50 a month to one place. The other one, it was $50 for the year. I mean, it wasn't any. It didn't take me even a split second to decide which one to go with. So, but that was a great. We find the TechSoup. George loves TechSoup. He's always finding deals up there. He loves it.
Yeah, we do too. We just brought them on as a technical assistance provider this year.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, we learned about them at the conference down in D.C., Brad, when we all came down. And
right.
Yeah. You didn't have to tell George twice. He got right on that bandwagon.
Good, George.
Saves us lots of money, thousands of dollars.
Yes, he has.
Other announcements that people have? Yeah, any other announcements that people have? Well, between now and the next call, there will be, some of us will be meeting out in San Francisco. Sherry, I have to get back to Mitzi. I don't think she'll need to present, but I think she'll probably be in the room, or we'll huddle with Heartland. But there'll be a social media conversation or session at the National Conference on Volunteerism and Service, and it'll be a way to share some lessons from the CBO network as well as some lessons from the higher ed network. And just again, that conference has a fairly diverse audience, so for some of them, it'll be kind of like the National Youth Leadership Council, where some may be hearing about social media for the first time, some may be quite experienced, some will be wanting to know about how you help something become service learning if you've been highly committed to volunteerism and service, but you want to move towards deeper youth engagement. So we'll be sharing some stories, and we'll post what we have in terms of the PowerPoints and handouts for people to be able to see. And then the next two grantees that generously volunteered and or were arm-twisted in a gentle way were AHAC, so we're thrilled about that, and West Virginia Commission. So that's on the 30th of June, and we got some, again, a good showing of folks that are participating. So I'm glad that, this is a nice way to spend the summer. Some people do summer reading, and we get to kick back and hear what our colleagues have been working so hard on. And I guess I'd like to say, as Angelia said in her comments, and Brad too, boy, both of you today did a wonderful, wonderful job of synthesizing and pulling things together, and thanks for doing that prep work for the good of us all. We'll all have our turn. And Larry and Dina, thanks for making it so smooth and seamless. It seems like we've been doing these for a long time, so we'll help figure out whatever little hiccups, Sherry, for example, that you had, but otherwise, I look forward to a summer of good conversations and show and tells. So with that, I think we'll sign off at 12:27 Central Time and give you 3 minutes to get a healthy drink of water or eat if you've been enticed by New York City, or do whatever you need to do at this point of the day. Thank you all.